Patrick Mahomes is already better than Tom Brady.
There's nothing that Patrick can do, in my opinion, that takes away from what I tried to accomplish in my career.
The GOAT debate just got personal. Patrick Mahomes has finally opened up about his real feelings toward Tom Brady, and it goes beyond rings and stats.
Either that, or we're going to have to find a way to get through them at some point. But they're the top guys, and you have to strive to find some way to beat them.
We've all seen the comparisons, but this felt personal because the moment those words dropped, the entire conversation around the GOAT debate shifted overnight. The GOAT debate. The debate never changes. It just gets new names.
Every single day, this is some of it. So that's going to come with people tearing down Michael Jordan to either put up LeBron James.
And now, the same thing is happening with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. This is the conversation that has taken over sports media, barbershops, comment sections, and locker rooms since at least February 2021.
It's starting to happen with Patrick Mahomes right now, where there's people saying, he's already greatest of all time, better than Tom Brady.
And the question everyone keeps coming back to is simple. Does Patrick Mahomes actually hate Tom Brady? Because if you follow what gets said on social media, in comment sections, and on sports debate shows, you would think these two men are in open war with each other. But let's go back to where this whole thing starts. It starts with a football game. Super Bowl 55, February 7, 2021. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Tom Brady, a man who had just left the New England Patriots and signed with a new team at 43 years old, against Patrick Mahomes, the young king who had just won a Super Bowl the year before and was looking to repeat. The result was not close. Brady's Buccaneers won 31-9. It was a statement. It was Brady in a new city with a new team putting up a wall between himself and the man who people were already saying would replace him. That loss did something to the Chiefs and everyone around them. The scoreboard was ugly. The performance from Mahomes was nowhere near what people expected from him. And what followed was not silence. Mahomes' mother, Randy, posted a tweet directed at Brady's then-wife Gisele Bündchen saying, "If you have to have the ref on your team, is that really winning?" That tweet moved fast. Outlets ran it. Fans took it and ran further. And suddenly the story became about family drama, referee conspiracy theories, and a growing war between two dynasties. Now here's the thing. Neither Mahomes nor Brady touched that story. Neither of them posted anything. Neither of them fired back. Patrick did not go on camera and say he hated Tom Brady. Tom Brady did not go on air and mock the Mahomes family. The players themselves did not take the bait. And according to reports at the time, Randy also posted praise for Brady's parents around the same period and even took photos with them. The tweet faded. No, player escalated it. It was done. But the narrative was already moving. Then came April 2021. The Kansas City Royals, a baseball team, posted a video of their catcher, Salvador Perez, wearing a Tom Brady jersey and saying, "Patrick Mahomes is the best." It was a lost bet. It was meant to be funny. Brady saw it, quote, tweeted it, and said, "Nah, I think actions always speak louder than words." Mahomes replied with, "I guess we will see in 20 years. Sports media exploded. Headlines called it escalating their rivalry through trash talk. But read those tweets again. There was no anger in them. There was no venom. There was no moment where Mahomes said he hated Brady or wanted to bury him personally. He said he would see him in 20 years. That is not hate. That is competition. And yet the story that keeps circulating, the one that gets clicks, gets views, gets people sharing, is the one that says these two men have a deep burning problem with each other.
Yeah, I think that there's nothing that Patrick can do, in my opinion, that takes away from what I tried to accomplish in my career.
That is Tom Brady. Not throwing shade, not drawing a line. That is Brady speaking with distance and calm about his own legacy in relation to Mahomes. He is not angry. He is not threatened.
And there's nothing that I did can take away from what he's trying to accomplish. I feel like all I tried to be was the best I could be.
That's the man who supposedly has an enemy in Patrick Mahomes. That is the person who internet headlines describe as being in a feud. What we're seeing so far does not look like hate, but there are layers here. And the story gets more complicated when you look at what happened next, and specifically what happened when Brady and Mahomes were put in the same room, competing against each other, and the cameras were rolling. The defining match. By 2022, the world wanted more from this rivalry. Not just Super Bowls, not just press conferences. They wanted something raw, something personal, and for a moment, they almost got it. In June 2022, the Capital One charity golf event called The Match was announced. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Four of the best quarterbacks in the NFL on a golf course, mic'd up, raising money for charity, with trash talk built into the format. It was designed to have an edge, and the players delivered. Mahomes and Allen went in first. They hyped it. They talked about the older guys being on their way out. They leaned into the generational angle. They were loud, confident, and clearly enjoying it. Then Brady responded, and what he said got people's attention. Brady said that although Mahomes has played a lot of great games, he didn't win anything. He's won a few of the other ones, but not the important ones. At that point in 2022, Mahomes had 2 Super Bowl wins. Brady had 7, and Brady was using that gap like a crowbar. It stung, at least in the headlines it did. Aaron Rodgers piled on, mocking Mahomes and Allen's style as buddy-buddy and comparing their trash talk to Kermit the Frog and Josh. He said they needed to have some prepared material or they can't hang with the grizzled vets. It was funny, it was sharp, and it was entirely designed to sell the event. Mahomes clapped back, keeping his energy light and promotional. He referenced Brady and Rodgers relying on scripted or old jokes. He did not snap. He did not go personal. He played the game. He sold the show. The veterans won the golf match. After the event, everyone shook hands. There was no lingering bitterness documented from either side. No player went home and posted anything dark. No one called the other a liar, a fraud, or someone they could not respect. The event ended with handshakes and the kind of mutual respect that you only see between people who truly understand what it costs to reach the top of their profession. And yet this event was dissected, cut, sliced, and repackaged online as proof that these men despised each other. Now look at what was actually happening on both sides of this relationship during the same period. Mahomes, in multiple interviews over the years, called Brady the GOAT, not once, not twice, but repeatedly. He framed his entire career as a chase. He said he wanted to catch Brady. He positioned himself as someone pursuing a legend, not someone trying to destroy a legacy. That is not the language of hate. That is the language of obsession in the best way. The obsession of a competitor who wants to be the greatest and knows exactly who set the bar. Brady, in his own interviews, spoke about Mahomes in terms that carry genuine respect. He called Mahomes' ability in clutch situations a cheat code. He praised his mentality and physical skills. He made no effort to bury Mahomes' reputation or push a narrative that diminished what the younger man was building.
And believe me, if anybody can go out there and win 7 Super Bowls, I have so much respect for them.
That line from Brady tells you something important. He is not guarding his throne in a way that shuts out Mahomes. He is saying, if you get here, I will respect you. That is not the behavior of someone in a feud.
I understand how difficult it is. I will congratulate them and I'm going to, give whoever it is a big hug.
And then Brady said something that cuts through every "he hates him" headline that has ever been written.
I texted my friend who plays with Pat after the game, and I just said, tell him congrats.
He texted someone close to Mahomes after a big game, not to taunt, not to keep score, but to send congratulations. That is not what a man in a personal feud does. The real story of this rivalry is not one of hatred. It is one of proximity. 2 men standing so close to the top of the same mountain that people watching from below have decided they must be trying to push each other off. But the events, the quotes, the gestures, they tell a different story. And the more you look at what actually happened, the more you start to realize that the fuel behind the hate narrative has come from somewhere else entirely. The statistical comparison. There is a machine that runs on tension. It is called sports media. And nowhere does it grind harder than at the intersection of 2 generational talents who represent different eras of the same sport. The debate show segment from Crane & Company captures exactly what this machine looks like when it is working at full speed.
Question is this. Hunter Go, Patrick Mahomes is already better than Tom Brady.
2 sides, 2 men, and a format designed to make sure neither one of them agrees. One side came in with history on its lips.
Thinking that Patrick Mahomes is already greater than Tom Brady, that's a great example of recency bias.
The other side came loaded with numbers.
First, I'm going to give you the statistical way. All right? In their first 8 seasons, I'll go through the numbers. Patrick Mahomes has almost 1,000 more passing yards than Tom Brady.
And there was more coming.
Patrick Mahomes averages almost 50 more passing yards per game. Patrick Mahomes has 48 more passing touchdowns than Tom Brady.
The numbers kept stacking, and every single one of them was being read into a microphone in front of an audience hungry for a verdict.
He has 12 less interceptions. He has almost 1,500 more rushing yards than Tom Brady.
This is the engine of the narrative. This is how a rivalry that the players themselves have never turned into personal conflict becomes, in the public eye, something that feels like war. Take real numbers, assign them to a verdict. Put two people with opposing verdicts in the same room and let the audience pick a side. The statistical comparison between Mahomes and Brady through their first 8 seasons is genuinely compelling. In their first 8 seasons, Mahomes had almost 1,000 more passing yards than Brady, averaged nearly 50 more passing yards per game, threw 48 more touchdown passes, threw 12 fewer interceptions, and accumulated nearly 2,500 more rushing yards. Those are real numbers. They are not invented. And they reflect the fact that Mahomes entered the league as a more complete, more dynamic passer than Brady was at the same stage.
Through their first 8 seasons, both have 3 Super Bowls.
Then came the hardware comparison. And this was where it got complicated.
Patrick Mahomes, both have 3 championships. Patrick Mahomes has been to 6 Pro Bowls. Tom Brady's been to 4. Patrick Mahomes has been All-Pro 3 times.
And then one argument from the Brady camp that wasn't going anywhere.
Well, you know who could? Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes couldn't beat him. Brady's 2-0 against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and one of those was a Super Bowl. In fact, that's Patrick Mahomes' only Super Bowl loss is against that guy right there, Tom Brady.
Brady was 2-0 against Mahomes in the playoffs. Mahomes' only Super Bowl loss came against Brady. That is a real fact. And in the GOAT debate, it carries real weight. But here is what the machine does with those facts. It does not present them as part of a complex, layered conversation between 2 eras and 2 styles of play. It presents them as ammunition. It takes Brady's edge in their head-to-head and turns it into a reason for Mahomes to feel disrespected. It takes Mahomes' statistical superiority in their parallel timelines and turns it into a reason for Brady to feel threatened. Neither of these men has publicly indicated they feel either of those things, but the machine does not need them to feel it. It just needs the audience to believe they do. And then there is the broadcast booth. Brady, once he retired and joined Fox Sports as an NFL analyst, stepped directly into the fire. Now every game he called involving Mahomes was going to be examined for shade. Every word he said or did not say was going to be measured against a narrative of rivalry and resentment. He knew this before he even put on a headset, and his response to that pressure reveals something very important about who Tom Brady actually is in relation to Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady's response. When Tom Brady joined the Fox Sports broadcast booth, something changed in how the public consumed his relationship with Mahomes. He was no longer just a retired player with a legacy. He was a commentator with a platform. And the question immediately became, would he use that platform to take shots?
Tom Brady explained why he'll never criticize Patrick Mahomes during the broadcast. How can I throw shade at someone who is amazing as Mahomes is?
That is Brady himself, in his own voice, addressing the question directly. He did not dance around it. He named the dynamic, and he told people where he stood. But here's the thing that makes this more interesting. Brady went on to say that as a broadcaster, he felt a responsibility to tell the fans what I see and be honest and upfront about everything. He acknowledged that the players do not make the right plays all the time, and that he himself did not always make the right plays.
But also realize that these guys are doing on the field is extremely difficult. It's a high level of skill. You're looking at the 32 teams who have starting quarterbacks out there.
He was making a point about context, about what it costs a man to stand in that pocket with the weight of a franchise on his shoulders.
This guy's one of the best in the world at what he does. So do they make the right plays all the time?
And the answer Brady gave was honest.
Certainly not. But by the way, neither did I. And I think you have to have this context and perspective.
Now, Brady's broadcasting restraint became its own story. The Nightcap hosts unpacked exactly why a broadcaster in Brady's position has to walk a narrow line.
Because here's the thing, you can't be too critical when you're in that position, because then they won't do production meeting with you.
That is the reality of the broadcast world, and Shannon Sharpe laid it out flat. It is about word construction.
So you have to walk a very fine line if you play-by-play or you do color, which Tom does color.
Right.
It is about framing criticism inside of respect.
You got to, you know what I'm saying, Ocho? You got to couch it. Yeah, I don't know what he saw on that one.
That is the broadcast code. You soften, you couch, you give the player an out before you give the audience the truth.
That's not like Patrick. A guy that's played as won as many Super Bowls as he has and MVPs, that's not like him. So give the defense credit on that. You know, you got an A.
And then came the more pointed part of the nightcap conversation. The hosts argued that because players like Mahomes are so consistently elite, they rarely face the kind of direct criticism that reveals what analysts really think.
Because they're not criticized that much, they should be okay.
Bingo.
Like if you have you play 7 good games, you have 1 bad game.
This was not about Brady protecting Mahomes because of a personal alliance. This was about the system.
You say, well, he didn't play well today. I mean, he's played up until this point. I had him as the MVP.
Right.
Well, he don't play well. We ought to say that, he didn't play well today.
Yeah.
The system that protects elite players from hard criticism is the same system that makes it look from the outside like broadcasters are playing favorites. And when Brady is the broadcaster and Mahomes is the player on the field, that perception gets amplified by the weight of their history. Every word Brady does not say becomes evidence of something. Brady also addressed Mahomes' officiating situation in 2025, taking a position that was not soft and was not designed to protect Mahomes from scrutiny. He noted that when Mahomes acts as a runner, pausing or scrambling, he should be treated like any other runner rather than given extra protection. That is Brady being honest. That is Brady doing the job he said he would do. And it is also Brady navigating the tightrope that every analyst walks, being fair without being cruel, being honest without feeding the machine. That is the exact dynamic at play. Whatever Brady says about Mahomes, positive or critical, it gets processed through the rivalry narrative and handed back to the audience as evidence of something that may or may not be there. And that brings us to the deepest and most revealing layer of this entire story. Because once you strip away the media machinery, the debate show formats, the viral tweet moments, and the broadcast booth politics, you are left with two men who have only ever spoken about each other, with something that looks a lot more like admiration than hatred. Why the hate narrative keeps living. Here is the final question this whole story has been building toward. Not whether Brady and Mahomes have beef, but why so many people need them to.
And I love watching him lead his team. And of all the things I love leadership, and I love people that are selfless.
That is Tom Brady, talking about Patrick Mahomes on camera.
I hate selfish teammates. I don't like being around people that are self-serving and always trying to create their own self-serving narrative about who they are.
The words Brady used here, selfless, team, leadership, are not the words of a man who resents his successor. They are the words of a man who sees his own values reflected in the person chasing him. Whether Brady was speaking about Mahomes specifically or about players in general, the contrast he drew was between selflessness and self-serving behavior. And every public piece of evidence from Mahomes' career points to someone who lives on the selfless side of that line. Now let's be precise about what the record actually shows. Mahomes has called Brady the GOAT, not once, not as a throwaway quote, but repeatedly and on record. He has framed his career as a pursuit of Brady's standard. He has never, not once, made a statement in any interview, press conference, or public setting that expressed hatred, contempt, or personal animosity toward Tom Brady. Not a single documented instance exists of Patrick Mahomes saying he hates Tom Brady. Brady, on his end, has stated clearly that he will never throw shade at Mahomes. He has praised Mahomes' skill publicly. He has sent congratulations to Mahomes through mutual connections after big games. He has said, in plain language, that nothing Mahomes achieves takes away from what Brady built, and nothing Brady achieved takes away from what Mahomes is building.
I love teams. I love team sports. I love celebrating success with other people and the businesses I'm a part of, whether that's being a part of the Fox broadcast team. I know that I'm just playing one role.
Brady was not talking about Mahomes there specifically, but the philosophy he was describing, the one that defines how he moves through the world, is one built on humility, not bitterness.
Whether it's being a part of Noble, I know I'm playing one role. I need a lot of other teammates to help me come in and be successful, and I embrace that. There's so many things I'm not good at.
What actually drives the hate narrative is not anything these two men have done to each other. What drives it is the Jordan versus LeBron template. Sports media learned over decades of debate content that framing two great players as rivals locked in personal conflict generates more engagement than framing them as two great players who respect each other and happen to compete in the same era. The machinery does not need Brady to hate Mahomes. It just needs the audience to wonder if he does.
Patrick Mahomes may get there. He's going to be the closest that we've seen, but right this second, he's not there.
That is the Brady supporters' argument. But notice what it is not. It is not personal. It is competitive. There is a difference.
Patrick Mahomes can't beat this guy when it really matters, and that'll never go away.
That argument, the playoff record, is real. It is one of the few hard facts that separates Brady and Mahomes in a direct head-to-head context. Brady is 2-0 against Mahomes in the playoffs. Mahomes' only Super Bowl loss is against Brady. That will sit in the record books forever. But Mahomes has also gone on to win more Super Bowls since that loss. He now has 3, and the gap between him and Brady's 7 is now 4 rings. Smaller than it was 3 years ago, and potentially smaller still before Mahomes is done. What this story has always actually been about is the gap between what competition looks like and what the audience wants competition to look like. Real competition at the highest level carries respect at its core. The people who have actually stood in those shoes, Brady, Mahomes, the hosts who played for decades, they understand that truth. The narrative machine does not. Brady is not watching Mahomes with anger. He is watching him the way every great player watches the person who might one day break their record, with the quiet knowledge that the record being chased is proof the legacy was worth building. And Mahomes is not chasing Brady out of hatred. He is chasing him because there is no higher target in the history of his sport. That is not a feud, that is football. But here's the real question. Is Tom Brady's legacy truly untouchable no matter what? And if Patrick Mahomes keeps building at this pace, what would it actually take to surpass him? Let me know what you think in the comments section. For more videos like this, click on this next card on your screen.